Hello, everyone. Welcome.
Hello, welcome back. Woo!
Yes. You know what I want?
What do
What?
you want?
Were you going to
I was
say
just gonna
something?
say it's cold outside.
Oh, it's very cold. And I am not this usually because we're in a place where we have all four seasons, right?
Mhm.
And fall just kind of, summer goes into fall and then fall goes into winter, and I'm ready by that. I am not. I think it's maybe because I'm getting older. I don't know.
Maybe. I don't know,
But
but
it's
it's
cold.
it is definitely the end of
Yes.
November.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And that actually fits perfectly into what I was going to say.
Okay.
Well, so Thanksgiving is, if you're American, Thanksgiving is this week, couple days
Mm-hmm.
from this video.
Yep.
And so it is chilly out. You start a fire, you sit in the front of the fire, and you all know that I don't go to my in-laws for Thanksgiving. That's a whole other, that's probably a Pam Ponders right there. And I was thinking, oh, to sit in front of I get several hours to myself because my husband goes,
Mm-hmm.
sit in front of the fireplace all by myself and just eat pie. That was what I was. So I
What
went,
kind of pie? What kind of pie?
I I think this year I'm gonna make a pumpkin pie.
Love pumpkin pie.
Love pumpkin pie.
Love pumpkin pie.
What
But
is
as you were
your
talking about sitting in front of the fire and eating pie,
yes.
apple.
Oh, yeah, that's a good one too.
Apple. And I just recently made an apple pie. Oh, it was so good.
With extra, I like the extra cinnamon. I like it to real. Oh man, everyone likes a little different. And when not too sweet though. Some of them, like if you buy them in the store, they have that weird.
Oh, no.
Know
And
what that is?
I use two different kinds of apples. I use a sweet apple and I use a tart. I use a Granny Smith. So I
Ooh,
used Honey Crisp and Granny Smith.
oh my God.
It
That
was so good.
yes. Of
It
course, I'm
was
sure you
so good.
use gluten-free crust
Oh,
because
yes,
yeah,
absolutely.
yeah,
Have to.
yeah.
And I am making the pumpkin pie for Thanksgiving this year. So I will get to have pumpkin pie
Yes, yes, because you'll make it with the
because I will make it.
appropriate crust.
I
Yeah,
will make it so
yeah.
I can eat it. Yes.
Now I'm
Yes.
hungry. Oh, what
Yes.
is the pecan pie? That's my husband's favorite.
Pecan
That's
pie. That's
what
good.
I
Yeah.
love. What else do you like? I'm trying to think of what else. I like cream pies. Um,
So one of my favorite, and my husband makes it better than I do.
oh,
It's
that's kind of
called
nice.
it's called Black Bottom Lemon. It is a
Lemon.
chocolate crust with a chocolate pie with lemon
Mm.
pie filling over the top of it.
Oh,
So it is a layered pie.
that sounds fabulous.
Hmm.
And it has to be, the lemon has to punch me in the mouth.
Oh,
Like,
this is
no.
lemon. Trust me. And this is this is a pie that is made from scratch. It is, and you can make it as lemon as you want.
Mm. Do you remember when we still had our space? We went on the hunt for a real lemon cookie, and we
Yes.
never were able to find.
No.
It sucks. It says lemon and it's yellow, but you bite into it and it's like, where's the lemon? It just tastes like,
Where's yeah.
yeah, whatever.
No.
No, I want to be punched in the mouth with the lemon.
Years ago, I was trying to lose weight. Um, I don't even know why. But anyway, at least that's what my brain tells me is that I was trying to lose weight.
Okay.
And so I would suck on lemon drops.
Oh, yum.
I found this one brand. It was so lemon, I
Mm.
couldn't keep it in my mouth
Wow.
for very long.
Oh, I would totally eat those. Yeah.
I eventually, I got to where I could.
Yeah.
I could get through. Ooh, I could get through it.
You know what'd be good with a cookie like that is put some
Hot
chocolate or
chocolate.
something. Yes. Yes. Like
Yeah.
hot chocolate. Yes,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Yeah.
You remember
Yeah.
when we were kids, and I'm sure we talked about this when we were searching for that perfect. They had those lemon cookies in the grocery store. They were cheap lemon cookies. They came in a box. They had powdered sugar over the
Yep.
top, and
Yep.
they would punch you. Oh, they were so good. And they don't
Yep.
make those anymore.
Nope.
No, no.
They had lemon and cherry.
Oh.
My grandma bought the cherry ones more often.
Mhm.
Um,
Now,
but every
cherry
once in a while she would buy
pies,
me. She
I
would buy.
love too, except for the actual cherry in it. I just like the filling around it. So I pick out the actual cherries.
I am not a huge cherry fan.
Mm.
Um, I have trauma around cherry cough syrup. Okay.
Why?
Because I was sick a lot as a kid.
Oh.
Cherry cough syrup. Anyway.
Oh, yeah. No,
Yeah.
that's icky.
Um, my mother made a vanilla pie
Mhm.
with cherry pie filling topping.
Ah.
And every once in a while she would buy canned cherry pie filling to put on it.
Oh,
Most of the time, oh no, mom made
she made it.
it was everything from scratch.
Oh.
Oh,
We used to eat so much like that, though, remember?
yes,
Remember when Sherry's, the restaurant Sherry's, who just went out of business, right? You had said
right,
something about it going out of business.
right.
When growing up, they were known for their pies. That's what they were. They were amazing. And then as years went by, it's like, what did you do to your pies? Like, did you just buy frozen pies and you're just saying they're Sherry's pies? These are not them. Like, it's not working. Not working. So yes, you have to decide. If you all let us know what your favorite pie is, and maybe
Yes.
I'll do something different for Thanksgiving. But I'm thinking the pumpkin pie, and I have to say it does. My son who lives in Morocco, pumpkin has always been his favorite since he even at his birthday parties when he was a kid, he didn't want cake, he wanted pumpkin pie. And so he's gone, and so I guess that's a little, because I miss him. It's hard having a child living out of the country. And
It's hard having my family living across the country.
right. But in the
I
country,
can't imagine out of the country.
yeah, it's hard. And he's
It's hard.
no matter, I don't know how many years the different places he's lived and stuff.
Hmm.
And it's been years, and you don't get used to it. You just don't. You just don't.
No, no.
So, thankfully, though, I remember way back when he first started, the first place he lived in Australia for a year. And that's when I actually got
Mm,
a Facebook page. And it was just so I could talk. Now I don't have Facebook anymore, but now you can talk so many different ways.
right.
But that was the only reason. But I can't imagine those days when there was no way, it was letters. Like, are you kidding?
Letters.
Oh, and it
Yeah,
takes a long time to get across the country and then, yeah.
yeah.
So
Yep.
overseas and everything. Anyway,
Yep.
so Thanksgiving. Thanksgiving.
Mm, mm. I
Uh,
still want, even with all those pies, apple pie is what I'm kind of like in the moment. Kind of.
maybe you'll have to make an apple pie. Yes, I think I will make pumpkin. And I think it is because I miss my son. And his wife has never had a pumpkin pie. She's Moroccan. They don't like that's just not.
Interesting. Isn't that so funny? Things that we just take for granted
Yes.
that
Yeah.
other people in the world just,
Yeah.
you eat what?
Yes, yes. Well, Halloween. They don't know. They've seen it on movies and stuff, but they've never experienced a Halloween. So I was taking video, during Halloween, and I sent it to him. And she has a little brother who's 10, 11, perfect age for, trick or treating.
Sure.
And he was just, his mouth gaped out. He was just like, they really do that? It's like, yep, they really do. Yes. It's pretty exciting. Um, So anyway, someday when she comes, it'll be fun. Her first
Yeah.
experience with these holidays and Christmas, it's a Muslim country, so they don't
Right.
do uh Christmas. They might in some of the bigger cities, just because there's a bigger population, is a little more diverse, but it's a Muslim country, so
Right.
they don't. So I'm very excited about that, sharing with her. And she's pretty excited because you get presents. She's like, "What? You just get presents on on some day in December?" Like, "Yep, you do." Yes. So
Yep. Yep.
anyway, holidays coming up, everyone. I know it's hard for a lot of people. And
Yeah,
you know,
it is.
we've done podcasts on this before,
Mhm.
because it's hard, and I'm sorry that it's so hard. I just refrain. Like I said, I don't go to my in-laws because it's not enjoyable for me, and I'm not going to sit there and just be unhappy, not wanting to be there, wanting to do something else. My husband doesn't want me there if I'm going to be like that. You know what I mean? Like, he's
Right.
totally fine with me not going. He'd rather me
Right.
sit here, eat pie by myself in front of the fireplace, because that's enjoyable for me. And so, yeah. And then, of course, it's election. We just had an election, so it's going to be really hard for some people. Yeah.
Hmm.
So we'd like to hear or I would like to hear kind of what you all do to prepare yourself, or do you prepare yourself for going to family?
Hmm. I
Yeah.
would hope that people prepare themselves
Yes.
in a in a grounded, high vibrational
Yes.
way. Um, the way I prepare myself nowadays is so different from the way
Different.
I
Yes.
used to prepare myself.
Yes. So how did you used to do it? Like before all, like, did you, or did you?
You mean like when I drank?
Yes, that's what I want to hear.
Yes. When I drank, no, I would not drink before I went. No,
Okay.
but I would plan. What am
Ah,
I going to have with dinner?
okay.
Um, how long am I going to have to wait before I have something else? And
Oh.
when can I have my brandy? At what point am
So
I
wouldn't
safe
it be
to have?
brandy the whole time? It would be,
Oh no. No, 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 no. That would be
that's blasphemous.
that's terrible.
Oh, because that's your
That would be a disaster.
drink of choice.
Yeah. So I would have to really choose. Am I going to have beer or wine with dinner?
Okay.
Um,
And my stomach is flipping, by the way. Keep going though.
oh, I'm so sorry.
The thought
Um,
of switching and changing, and
oh,
if I
yeah.
start with something, my whole two drinks that I have, if they have to be the same. Anyway, sorry, go ahead. So you
Yeah.
plan.
Typically it would be beer. I would have beer with dinner.
Mhm.
Um, and then I would go to water.
Was that hard?
And well, this is a plan. So no,
Okay.
no, this was a
So you were
planned out.
patient. You knew that it would come. You were patient enough to wait. Wow. See, I don't
Because
think of alcoholics being that way.
I knew that if I didn't wait and I got drunk, it would be a shit show
Oh, I see.
because I was an angry drunk.
Okay. Now, was this be with your family or your husband's family? Or did it have with either, didn't matter which family you went to?
I did not drink around my husband's family.
Oh,
Well, because my father-in-law was um in recovery. So
oh, okay. So there
there
was
wasn't
no
alcohol.
alcohol.
There wasn't alcohol.
Okay. Okay.
Um,
Interesting.
yeah. Yeah. I'd kind of forgotten about that.
Yeah.
Yeah. He had
Our,
stopped drinking just shortly before Ron and I got married.
so
Yeah.
I hadn't done Thanksgiving. So my parents, when I was a teenager, they would go to California. That's where my dad's family all of his family was, and then I had a sister who lived down there. So my parents would go there, and I would be home, teenager. I'd be home by myself for Thanksgiving. So Thanksgiving was never a big thing for me. It still isn't. But so I don't mind being alone. Like it's not some big thing. It's just kind of always
Mm-hmm.
been that way. And some years I
Mm-hmm.
make dinner for us at home. We're
Mm-hmm.
kind of on Friday. We're actually doing a big Italian dinner. We're planning our My daughter-in-law and I are planning our dinner.
Ah, nice.
Yes. But now
Nice.
Christmas is the big, I haven't done it with my family for a long time, but that was the big drunken party. Like, as you're talking, I would plan it. It's like, I wonder if anyone in my family did that. It certainly didn't necessarily feel that way, but looking back, boy, because I just thought, oh, by the time it was later, they would be so drunk. But maybe they were really pacing themselves like you did. And we would get the
Yeah, I don't
kids
know
out of
because
there.
I refused. I would not get drunk in front of my family. They didn't know.
Oh,
Nobody knew. My
okay.
husband knew. Nobody knew.
Oh. Well,
No one.
my family
No
didn't
one.
think anyone knew. You know what I mean? Because they were all, but we would get the kids, we'd eat dinner, and then there was about an hour, maybe, and then we would go. Because then the drunken crazy
Mhm.
would happen. And I didn't want my children around that. So
Yeah.
got them the hell out of there. Interesting. Okay. So
Yeah.
then would you wait to get home before the brandy?
There were a few years I would take a bottle.
Oh.
Um, and that was hard. That was hard. Having one, maybe having a small second one.
Oh, so that's why you went ahead and changed your game plan.
Mhm.
Yeah, that makes
So
sense.
I quit taking it. Yeah.
Good. And then you just go home.
And I would wait. And then when I'd get home, yeah.
So that's probably what you remember the most, right? Is the drinking part. Or do you remember, I mean, you weren't drunk, but if that was foremost on your mind, which I assume it was, you were just waiting to get through it. Did you enjoy your holiday?
Yes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
good, good. If you're gonna
Yeah.
go, I mean, it'd be nice to.
Yeah. And um the worst of my drinking happened, I had a lot of years where I wouldn't have considered myself at the point an alcoholic,
Sure. Mm-hmm.
even though I was, because I'm not drinking here because I know what's going to happen. I'm going to wait until I get home.
Right.
Right. By the time I was fully and desperately um, in the disease, um, my sister was gone. Everybody was grown. It was just,
Yeah.
at that point it had become an obligation and you just go and it's,
Yeah.
it's whatever it is. And then my mom got sick and well, no, I guess my mom got sick after I got sober. So
Oh, so she got to see you sober. That's nice.
yes.
I guess I never knew that.
Um,
Or maybe I
yes.
did, but I didn't kind of put it together.
Yes. But then again, they didn't know.
Oh, that's true.
They
That's true.
didn't know.
Hmm.
And they really had a hard time understanding why I quit drinking.
Oh, sure, because they're like, well, you only had one beer at dinner when we were at Thanksgiving, and yeah, interesting.
So
Huh.
yeah, it was a very long, painful, arduous
Yeah.
lie.
Yes. I'm so
Yeah.
sorry.
Yeah.
And I'm sorry to those of you out there who may be going through the same thing that Mari-Lyn had to go through,
Hmm.
or the same thing that I have had to go through and
Hmm.
try to get the hell out of there before everyone got tanked.
And at the same time,
Yes.
I'm really happy for the lessons that you have available to you to learn.
Yes.
Because if anything that either of us have said resonates with you and you're like, oh God, I know that struggle.
Yes.
Um, there's another way.
There's another way.
There's another
Yes.
way.
It's not just another, it's a fabulous. You can imagine, I've heard Mari-Lyn say this many times, so I can say this. You can't imagine how good life is. when you're
If,
drinking.
yeah, you cannot.
No. Like just thinking about not drinking, all you think about from what you've said is just all the catastrophe and the what am I going to do and the, whatever,
How
whatever,
am
whatever.
I going to breathe? I remember thinking that, how am I even going to breathe knowing I don't have that waiting for me at the end of the day?
And not only do you breathe, I mean, you have a happy life.
I do have a happy life.
Yes. Yeah.
Um, and if anybody out there resonates with that thought, how will I even breathe? Because that takes my breath away.
Oof.
Remembering that fear. Um, and that's a fear I hope I never forget. It's not one I live in, right? It's not one I
Nope.
visit
Nope.
often.
Nope.
However, it's one I don't want to forget because it's kind of like, how odd we are um, about the things spirit can do.
Yes.
The day I lose that awe,
Yeah.
something's wrong.
Something's wrong.
The day I lose that fear,
Mhm.
something's wrong.
Yes.
Something's
Absolutely.
wrong. Mm-hmm.
And I also want to talk about and I've said this before and I'll say it before I move on is I always have these visions of Mari-Lyn going for that bottle of brandy and her husband and I like stop and we look at each other and then we look at her and we just take off. I always win though. I'm the one that gets to tackle you and get the bottle.
Well, you have longer legs. You have longer legs.
Yes. Yes.
How do we go? Wow. Okay, we started off light and fluffy with pie,
I know. And look where we went.
and we
Oh,
are we are
yes.
we are deep. We
We
are
are
deep.
deep.
Mm-hmm.
And this is when you were talking, my husband and I had a dry wedding and we had it at it's like an amusement park, Oaks Park.
Oh, okay.
And well, we got married at a church nearby, and then the reception was at there because I have so
Okay.
many kids in my family. I'm the youngest of six, and everyone had kids, and so they could go on the rides, and we just thought we'd make it a fun day.
Yeah.
And it's dry. There's no alcohol there. I think there's like a beer thing or something, but you have to drink it over there. It's not you can't drink anyway. So of course my mom that pissed off my oh she mad that we were driving. So she brought like a whole bar in the trunk of her car. Like what the hell? But she couldn't for an hour, for 2 hours. She couldn't. And of course at the time I didn't I know a lot more now. Not that I'm less upset about it now, or I mean, time has gone by. Yes, I'm less upset, but I understand it more
There's
now.
an understanding around it
Yes,
now, though.
yes.
Mm-hmm.
And she was trying to get everyone to come and drink with her, like
Mm-hmm.
at her bar, her trunk bar. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
So I do want to talk a bit about obligation because that's kind of what we're talking about. The holidays can be quite the obligation to go with family, and not
Yep.
just your family, but your spouse's family.
Mm-hmm.
And it might be too late by the time you hear, I don't know, it may be not. If you're needing to hear this, I hope you hear it. Have real conversations with your spouse, whether you're the one that feels obligated or the spouse feels obligated. Your relationship comes first before the family. If
Mm-hmm.
you're if you or your spouse, whichever one of you feels that, oh, I have to go because really have a conversation about that. It's not worth it. It's just not worth it. And after 30 years of marriage, I can tell you one of the things that has kept our marriage together is that we don't do the obligation thing. Neither one of us do. In the
Mm-hmm.
days that I actually did things with my family, I haven't for years, but if my husband didn't want to go, he didn't go. And I didn't push him. It was like, okay. And the same vice versa. If I didn't want to do something with his family, I didn't have to. We left that. My family's mine, his family's his. If one of the families had some big, because they're both drama addicts, right? Mine just happens to be bigger, so it happened more often on my side. I had more people, but I didn't include him in that. That's my family's drama, and I took care of it, if it kind of spilled over. And he
Hmm.
was the same way. I really encourage couples out there to rethink obligation to each
Hmm.
other's families or even to your own. If it feels you're obligated to go to your family, really think about the why and make a plan. Okay, we're going to go and we're just going to spend an hour or we're going to, whatever it is. Really think about it so you're not miserable because the holidays should be a blessing and you should be able to spend them with whomever you want to spend them with
Right.
and
Right.
enjoy it and be thankful. Like, Thanksgiving is a thankful holiday. I think Christmas is as well for me, but yeah, really look at that obligation piece and what that means. Because obligation is, I don't know what word I'm looking for. It's
Bitch.
detrimental. A bitch. Yeah. Obligation is a bitch. Yes. And she lives on. And don't let it come between you and your partner. I have
Mhm.
when we used to go to, it was always Thanksgiving would be at uh, my husband's family, and then Christmas was at our family. And I have a brother-in-law. I forgot where I was going with that. So I have a sister. She's older, of course, and her husband hated to go, but he had to go. Like she was not, no, you come. And so when my husband would join me, he was so excited. And they were like two little girls, and they'd go in the corner and they did because they were, the the brother-in-laws, and they got along great. And that's what kind of got them going. I can remember when I would show up and Mike wasn't there, and my brother-in-law would be like, "What the hell? You mean I have to suffer by myself? I don't, I don't have him to help."
Right.
And I always felt so sorry for him. And I remember saying something to my sister, and oh no, he was obligated. He had to go to her family stuff.
Hmm.
It just never made sense to me. I just, well, okay, I mean, that was their stuff, but that happened so often.
Hmm.
And and they would always end up in an argument by the end of the night, my sister and her husband. It was always a big thing. Well, she would also end up getting drunk, which was never helpful, and he didn't. But you know, let's kind of remember why this is. And if it's your family and you want to be there and your spouse doesn't, just don't. Just don't make them. Let's try and stay like I'm really when he goes and he comes home and I'm really excited to have him home and then we watch a movie or something like it's really
Right.
pleasant. But if you both go, you always end up fighting or something on the way, because it was awful.
It is it's a very tricky dynamic. And
Yeah.
I would like to think that that dynamic is changing for younger generations.
Oh, I hope so.
Um,
I really do.
but for those of us that are older,
Yeah.
that obligation piece is so, I want to say it's so drilled into us and we don't even realize it.
No.
We don't realize it. Um, I have had so much clarity over the past 18 months
Mhm.
around the thought processes that are drilled into our head about what life is supposed to be and what a partnership and a marriage is supposed to be like. Man, it spun me out for a while. Getting that clarity of, you mean
Yeah.
he really doesn't have to, and he's right in saying no, and
Right.
that's on me for being.
Right. Yes. Yeah.
And it's still a hard one. It's still a hard one to embrace.
Yeah. I'm sorry.
Mm-hmm.
And
Mm-hmm.
and you'll do it. I know you will.
Um, yeah.
And then yeah.
Yeah. The clarity, the understanding, the growth and the healing, it all makes it
Yes. Now
different.
now understanding and clarity is not healing. Just
No.
so everyone knows that. That's like it's that's
It's like kindergarten and first grade.
yes, there you go. Yes. And it's not healing. It's not truly letting go, the
Mm-mm.
forgiveness, forgiving ourselves, forgiving the situation. Doesn't always mean you have to forgive the other person, but there's and then that acceptance piece that comes. But that
Mm-hmm.
doesn't just come with clarity. It really
No.
doesn't. And
No.
as you know, that was always when there were years when I thought that I was healed from the trauma of my childhood
Right?
because I
Yeah.
had so much clarity on it. And I could just talk about it like it was
You
nothing.
know, I really wish we could put down like an absolute list of the steps to
Yes.
healing,
But they're different each time.
but you can't because
Yeah.
they are different and sometimes they come in different orders and sometimes
Yes.
a step isn't even in there. It's like grief, right?
Yes. Yes.
I could not count how many different times I've gone through grief from losing a person. And we grieve
Yes.
so much more than just losing a person, right?
Yes.
I've lost a lot of people in my lifetime.
Yes, you have.
Um, there is no two that are the same. Mm-mm.
Which would make sense because people are different.
Mm-hmm.
They're going to
But
affect
you
you
would think
differently.
grief is grief, right? We have to experience the emotions, but it's not. It comes some things are stronger, some things don't come in for a certain episode. I don't know
Yes.
what to call it.
And
But
sometimes, oh,
healing's the same way.
it is very much. What I was going is sometimes the clarity doesn't come until the moment you release something. It's like, oh my gosh.
Yes.
Yeah, let this go. Like, yeah.
Yes.
It has to like that wherever you're holding those memories and so forth in
Yeah.
your body, when that dislodges, it's like, oh, I get it. Yeah. And the clarity comes. Yes.
Yep.
Yeah.
So
Woo. And then there's an added because this was an election year. So those of you that are struggling with that, whichever side you're on, if you're going to be seeing someone at Thanksgiving or whichever holidays are coming up for
right.
you, that are on the other side of that,
Excuse me.
um, yeah, yeah, be
Yeah.
kind and it's really hard. You see it all over social media that people are giving up friends and family left and right because they, voted one way or the other and it's just so sad. And I think that is not all that person is. This is a human being who just has some different thoughts than you do. How is that, now if there are other reasons and I don't know, but if the person's an asshole, they're an asshole.
Right.
Let's just say it, right? But there has to be other reasons, like just because we disagree, you and I disagree politically. I
On a
have
lot of things, yes.
I have friends, family, coworkers, and Marilyn's my best friend. And hell if we're gonna let something like that tear us apart because maybe we voted different or we have different opinions on certain issues or whatever. Never gonna happen. It's not gonna. We're not
Yeah.
giving each other up. What?
Um, no, I got a hand over my mouth. So
Oh,
yeah.
okay. All right. Okay. Yeah, but so I'll say it. Well, I don't know
I
where you're going exactly, but
I don't usually get my mouth that wide open, right? And then it's like
yes.
You're
Yes.
you're fine.
I think for me, not necessarily with this was a while ago. I remember having to sort of make a list of all the things that I really like about that person and focus on those things that I really like about that person. Those other things can just go by the wayside. It's not, um, I've never had to do that with you. It never, I think I've healed enough by the time we
I
became
was like,
friends. Oh, I can't hear you.
I was mumbling.
Oh.
My mouth was moving, but there was nothing
Oh,
coming out.
so you're trying to figure out what those times were when I was
Yes,
making a
this is
list?
Pam making a list about me.
Nope, nope, I have not. I was a grown up by the time we met, and that was not
So
going to
funny.
happen. And no, hell no. Uh-uh. We can deal with that now. And sometimes we argue, or sometimes we'll say our opinions, and then we just kind of leave it at that and just move on. I
Mm-hmm.
don't feel the need, and I don't think you do either, to have to agree on absolutely everything. We agree on, I think, the important things, on
Mm-hmm.
spirit, on this beautiful journey, on
Mm-hmm.
healing, on being loving and compassionate. Yeah, and
Mm-hmm.
even with my husband, I mean, he and I could have arguments, but we do the same thing. It's like, okay, we're done. Let's just, we disagree. Let's just walk away from that for now. And you do. Like,
Mm-hmm.
yeah,
You just do. Yeah.
just do. There's not going to be anyone that you are going to agree with 100%. And if you do, oh, I would look at that
I
relationship.
would question.
I was there's some
I would
codependent
question
or stuff
because
going on there.
one or both
Yes.
are compromising their own opinion.
Yes.
Um,
Absolutely.
yeah.
Yeah. And you don't have to compromise who you are and
Mm-mm.
I hope you don't compromise who you are for another human being. However, we do have to compromise. So for me, the
Yes,
compromise is okay, I'm going to compromise not being able to talk about this with you because we don't get
exactly.
anywhere. We're not having a good conversation, a real conversation. So I
Mm-hmm.
will compromise by not speaking to you about those things.
Mm-hmm.
So that's a good compromise.
It
But
is a good compromise.
but compromising who I am and pretending like I agree, or just agreeing with the person, that enabling piece.
Mm-hmm.
We all know I was a big enabler. Um, and I don't want to be that. I don't want to enable someone, you know. Uh, but anyway,
Mm-hmm.
yeah. So obligation at the holidays, I guess that's where first we talked about pies,
Pie.
the pie. And I want to
Pie.
hear what your favorite pies are. Like, what would you say? Because maybe there's a pie that I'm not thinking of at the moment.
Oh, you're gonna have pumpkin.
I mean, I'm gonna have pumpkin, but I could have two, right? I could have some pumpkin pie, and I could have some other one that I haven't heard about yet. Yes, yes. I don't know. Whew.
Oh.
So I hope all of you Americans have a beautiful holiday, and it's filled with joy and love and thankfulness.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Yeah.
I used to make my kids say what they were thankful for. And I remember one year when they were mad at each other and they had the hardest time saying, because I would say, I want you to say what you're thankful for everyone around the table. And there was,
Ah,
it was
sure.
something. And oh, I can't read, I probably should have written down some of the things they said, but I can't remember.
Yeah.
Very funny. When you're upset with someone to try to think of something that you're thankful for that person.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That's not
That
easy.
can be it can be a challenge.
Yeah.
Um, even when you're not upset with someone, it can be a challenge
Yes.
to come up with something that you are truly thankful for
Yes.
about them because it just doesn't seem that that's how we live life
No.
anymore.
My father-in-law, I am thankful that he had his son. Like sometimes that's about all you can get out there, right? Like I am thankful. And my husband did learn some good things as a man from his dad. Uh, not a lot, but there's some there. So I can say I'm thankful for that. I am thankful that his little swimmers got there. Thank you. But
That's hilarious.
that's about it. That's
That's
about it.
hilarious.
Yes. And I guess,
Yeah.
yeah.
And, sometimes it's okay if we're just not thankful for a person.
Yes. But don't be mean. That's the
And yeah. And just because we aren't thankful for
right.
a person does not minimize
Right.
that person at all.
No.
It doesn't minimize their value,
Right.
does not minimize how much spirit loves them. It doesn't minimize their contributions,
Right.
however they're made.
Right. And they
Um,
might be a parent. Like they might have
mhm.
children who absolutely adore them as well they should. Child who well, when you were thinking, I was thinking, oh yeah, there's some parents who are just horrible out there, and I have a hard time with that. But
Mhm.
really sitting down and trying to think about, well, that's still a human. Maybe I don't like
Yep.
the way they do whatever with their children or whatever. No one is 100% horrible.
Mm-mm.
Yeah. So
Mm-mm.
to look at and maybe that's something to do before you go to Thanksgiving with your family or whatever holiday is coming up for you, is to that person that you dislike the most. Now, I can say, oh, go ahead.
So I was going to say, yeah, to think about them not as the person you know,
Yes.
simply as another human being,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
someone's son or daughter,
Yes.
someone's grandchild.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
And I'm going to admit this, and it's hard for me to admit, but I'm going to admit it. One of the things I don't like about my father-in-law is something that I do. He's very opinionated and he speaks his mind, as do I. So I have to give him credit for as much as I dislike him for that, because I tend to be on the other end of the opinions and they're not always great. But
okay.
so he can be a real ass about it, but he is who he is. He's not out there trying to be something different. He's not giving you some lies or some whatever and then turns around and do something different. Oh, he is who he is. So I think I have to be thankful for that. And because that is like me. So yeah. Oh shit. I didn't want to feel all gooey about him. I guess I guess he's human. He does have things that I do like about him. Yeah. Or that I appreciate or whatever. Yeah.
Yeah.
Ugh. I hope he won't listen to this. No one in my family, they're not going to listen to this. I don't want him to hear that. Anyway,
Yeah. That's funny. Good job, Pam.
thank you.
Well done.
Thank you.
Well done. I
All right. Do you think it's a good place to stop?
think it's a good place to stop.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you everyone for tuning in.
I
Appreciate you,
appreciate
whether
you.
you're
Yeah.
listen only or you're watching this on YouTube. Thank you. And I hope you have a really lovely holiday. And
Yes.
remember those obligations. Remember
Yeah.
to talk about that and see
Yeah.
if you can make the time more loving for you and your partner. Yeah.
Put yourself first in a very loving way.
Yes.
Um, and if you are one of those people that spends the holiday alone,
Yes. Like,
use it as an opportunity to find love for yourself, to do something nice for yourself. build yourself up instead of finding that pity party of
Yes.
I'm all alone and I have nowhere to go.
No, like sit in front of the fire and eat a pie.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
boy, I'm looking forward to that. All by my lonesome, and I am fine with that. Yes, yes. Well, and then the next day we're going to have an Italian Thanksgiving, so it's just all Italian food, and the kids, my grandkids will be here, and all of that. So that's something to look forward to.
That'll be fun.
Yes, and we just talk about because Italian food, we love all the carbs, and I typically don't eat carbs, so it'll be my day
Right.
carb. I'm very much looking forward to that. I'll be big and puffy though the next day. So
That's all right.
yes.
That's all right.
All right, everyone.
All right, everyone.
Thank you.
Happy holidays. Happy Thanksgiving. And we'll see you next time.
Bye.
Bye.